The next day we woke up and drove to Maroon Bells. Okay, we're here, we're actually walking to a lake and it's not a long walk at all. And we are to the lake. As you can see, there's a pretty good view of some mountains here. We then left on a hike to another lake. Okay, we are about halfway up and that is the lake we were just at. I can zoom in on it here, that's a good view. It's also a pretty good view behind us. We continued to hike and eventually made it to the top. And we are now to the second lake. This is a pretty good view here. I'm just going to pan across the landscape here to show you the mountains in the background. After viewing the lake, we hiked down the mountain and drove to Leadville on Independence Pass. Okay, we are now to our house in Leadville, and as you can see, it is in the middle of the woods. Here's the inside. It's a pretty nice little house. We then decided to go to the Mount Elbert trailhead so we would be able to find it in the morning. Okay, we're now near the Mount Elbert trailhead. Our original plan was to do the hike in 2 days, but we're actually going to do it tomorrow since it's less likely to rain, even though it'll still probably rain. This is where we will be embarking from tomorrow morning. We're at the Mount Massive trailhead now. It's the second highest mountain in Colorado and the trailhead's literally right past the Mount Elbert trailhead. We decided to stop at a fish hatchery on the way home.
Yes, sir. Imagine fishing in a fish hatchery.
We went home and prepared for the hike the next day. Okay, it's now very early in the morning and we're going to the Mount Elbert trailhead. That is what we will be climbing. Okay, we are now to the parking lot. The hike to the top of the highest mountain in Colorado then began. Starting. At first, the hike wasn't too difficult, except there was a lot of elevation change. Okay, we are now above the tree line and we're having lunch, or kind of our first lunch. The weather is kind of cool but not cold, and there's a pretty good view over here. I can kind of pan across it. This hike actually has several false peaks. I know we're almost to one right now. I'm not sure if the one in the distance is a false peak or the real thing. You can also see Mount Massive to the right here. It's actually only about 10 feet shorter than Mount Elbert.
It's actually, this mountain's forecasted at the peak 6 inches of snow tonight.
Do you think that's the peak right there? Is that a false peak? I feel like in the distance. I know this is definitely a false peak, but I'm not sure about that. We are now above the clouds. Not entirely sure, but I think that's the road.
At least it's not hot.
We came in on that white thing. False peak number 1, you can actually see a really big lake over there. I forgot what it's called. We drove by it yesterday. And it's a little foggy and hazy.
Is that Twin Lakes?
Yeah, Twin Lakes is what it's called. There's another lake over there. You could see that earlier. It's Mount Massive again. I'm not sure. This is definitely a false peak. I'm still not sure if that is the real peak or not, because it looks like it goes down. And there's a trail that comes up from the other side, but that might be the peak. I'm not sure. It's also raining, and it's been raining for the past 10 minutes, so we might put on some rain gear. We just put on our rain gear and we're going to the top. Unfortunately, at that point, the conditions became too treacherous to film anything, both because my camera isn't waterproof and because I could barely move my fingers. It started to rain harder and the wind was relentless. I had a broken rain poncho that kept flapping in the wind and letting in near freezing water. This was on top of the physical demands of a steep climb at nearly 14,000 feet. I kind of wished I could just teleport back to the bottom, but we battled the adverse conditions and finally got a break. Less than 1,000 feet to go. It was raining pretty hard, and that was pretty treacherous right there. Hopefully it seems like it's not raining as hard now, so that's why I got out the camera. It's a pretty good view from up here. I hope this just isn't a break. Hopefully it's a couple hours at least. Hopefully we can make it before any bad weather comes. That was pretty treacherous though. The perilous conditions returned as we approached the top. The terrain was very rocky and every step was an achievement. The knowledge that we were almost there provided the energy to keep going. Since the visibility was nearly zero, it was impossible to tell if we were 500 feet or a mile away, but finally the top was visible. During the last few feet of the climb, the immense excitement made all of the hardships and challenges worth it, and we finally made it to the top. Yeah, we made it. We are now the tallest people on land in between California and France. And I'm recording this with my cell phone, obviously, since it's raining and my camera isn't wet. But I don't think there's much to see anywhere. I can imagine that the view is beautiful, though, when you can see it. It was beautiful halfway up. Just think, we have climbed Mount Elbert, the highest mountain in Colorado, second highest in the lower 48 states. We have battled incessant rain, brutal wind, and nearly freezing temperatures in August, and yet we have overcome those challenges, and we are now to the top of Mount Elbert. The weather is still pretty bad, even though it was raining harder down there. It's still pretty bad, but we did it. This is amazing, even though you really can't see more than like 100 feet off the cliff. What? I'm not sure. But no matter what, nobody else is up here. We're the highest people in between California and France.
Except for the people who are smoking weed right now.
Well, we're physically higher. We were going to have a LAN party on our cell phones, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the touchscreens will work. There, I put my foot on it. Oh, I stepped in water. After reaching the peak, we began our descent. Okay, we're now on the way down, and that is where we came from. It gives you an idea of the conditions. You can't even see the peak, I don't think. That's also pretty cool how the clouds are kind of rolling up the mountain. And we should probably get going before any more bad weather comes. We then continued our descent down the mountain. Okay, I think we're almost there. The way down is almost the hardest part since you're tired from everything that you've already done, even though it's downhill. North Elbert Creek Trailhead. And I can see the parking lot, I think. And we have officially completed the hike. We made it back. The parking lot's pretty empty. Well, that was definitely a challenge, but we made it. Okay, this is where I'm going to end this video. The next video will be kind of a conclusion. It will have some mountain biking, golfing, and the drive home. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you want more content like this.